Hola, muy buenos días chicos. Espero que estéis bien y vamos a tener nuestra lección de hoy. Okay, so first of all, I hope that you've got the worksheet ready for this video lesson. Second of all, we've got our starter, which focuses on our last lesson, ¿Cómo es tu casa o tu piso? I would like you to unjumble these sentences so that they are in the correct order. Number 1 has been done for you. You have the words en vivo casa una que en la esta costa. This makes no sense like this, so we're going to put it in the correct order. Vivo en una casa que está en la costa. I live in a house that is on the coast or by the coast. Notice we have a new word here, que, which is another way of extending our sentences. I live in a house that. So instead of saying e for and, it is in the coast, it's on the coast, by the coast, we can say que. Go to your worksheet, pause the video, and see if you can put sentences 2 to 6 in the correct order. And your challenge is to work out how you would make these sentences negative. Play the video when you're ready. Okay, lovely. Number 2, we were expecting the answer, vivo en un piso antiguo. I live in an old flat. Number 3, está en el desierto. It is in the desert. Number 4, vivimos en una casa que está en el campo. We've got a new form of the verb vivir, to live, and we've put it as we, vivimos, we live. And again, we've got our que, our connective here. Number 5, vivo en un piso que está en una ciudad. I live in a flat that is in a city. And number 6, vivo en un piso cómodo. I live in a comfortable flat. To make all of these sentences negative, which was part of your challenge, we simply add no before the verb. For example, no vivo, I do not live. No está, it is not. Lovely. Okay, so today's lesson is all about these two words, ser or estar, and we are going to be able to understand the different uses of ser and estar. All will become clear as to what these words mean and when we use them. Take a moment to read these 6 sentences. They all use the verb ser, and they've got a mixture of information that you've seen since the beginning of Module 4. Can you first of all work out where these people are from and translate the sentence as you go along? And can you work out the extra information given in each sentence? Pause the video, complete the work on your worksheet, and come back for the answers. Vale, vamos a ver las respuestas para este ejercicio. So number 1, guys. Soy de Inglaterra. Hablo inglés. In the green box, our question was to work out where these people are from. And that one is England in this case. Soy de Inglaterra. And the challenge in red, I speak English. Hablo inglés. Number 2. Soy de España. Estudio tecnología, informática y ciencias. I am from Spain. Soy de España being our origin. And the red part, I study DT, ICT and science. So this links back to Module 2, guys. And number 3, vivo en Francia, pero no soy de Francia. This is a bit of a trick question here because they say they live in France, but they actually say they are not from France because we've got our negative use of no soy de Francia. Number 4, mi padre es de Italia, es italiano. My dad is from Italy, he is Italian. We've got our green and red separation there. Number 5, mi abuela es de México y habla español. Mi abuela, another family member, grandma or grandmother, is from Mexico and she speaks Spanish. That's our extra information. And number 6, me encantan los Estados Unidos Y mis primos son de allí. I love being our extra information because it's our opinion about the United States. Y mis primos son de allí. My cousins are from there. Excellent. So we can see that the use of ser in this case with the verbs soy, es and son in sentences 1 to 6 are talking about nationality and origin. I want you to think about that a bit later on. But we need to know the other formations of ser and estar. I'm going to show you these and I'd like you to repeat after me so that you can practice your pronunciation. Let's start with ser. We have yo soy, tú eres, él, ella es, nosotros somos, vosotros sois, ellos, ellas son. Excelente. Okay, let's start with estar now. Yo estoy. Tú estás. Él, ella está. Nosotros estamos. Vosotros estáis. Ellos, ellas están. Remember, guys, whenever you see all 6 verbs from an infinitive conjugated, they always start with the first person, then we go to you singular, which is tú, then we've got él, ella for the third person, it's number 3 in the list, remember it that way. We've then got nosotros for we, any verb that ends with mos is going to be we. Vosotros is you all. And the last one, which is number 6, is they. It's the third person doubled. So think about it that way. 3 plus 3 is 6. There's more than one. So, ser and estar both mean to be. And that's what can be quite confusing about this. And make sure you're looking at your knowledge organisers as well for this. This is on page 5 of module number 4. And you can refer to this at any time throughout the lesson. So, because they both mean to be, they've obviously got to be used in different contexts. So when do we use them? Make sure you're filling in the gaps on your worksheet, because here we have our definitions. Ser. This is used to describe permanent or semi-permanent characteristics. So if you are describing someone's personality to say they are kind, they are nice, you could describe their physical appearance. So he, she is blonde, he, she is tall, small, thin. You are going to need ser. So if I wanted to say I am tall, soy alta. Alta being our feminine adjective because I am a lady. Estar. This is used to describe location and temporary states. So when we are saying our house is in the countryside, we're talking about the location of our house. So we need to say mi casa está en el campo. Make sure you've got these down and let's move on to the first task. Take a look at what we've got here and fill in the gaps on your worksheet. Based on the definitions, can you work out which one of these points is going to need ser or estar? The first one, I've already given you a hint before when we were talking about where people were from. So this is their nationality. We were using the verbs soy, es, and son. Have a think, pause the video, and then play it again when you're ready for the answers. Okay, lovely. So, nationality, we use ser because it's a permanent thing. We are from a country or a place. Mood, we're going to be using estar because you are temporarily happy or sad or upset. If you are permanently sad or upset or happy, you are saying you are permanently a happy person. There's no way you can be negative. For health use, health reasons, we're going to be using estar because you're not going to be feeling sick all of the time. You're going to be feeling well some of the time as well. Appearance description, you could argue that this changes, but we normally use ser because it's something that rarely changes regarding height, hair, anything else to do with our appearance. Professions, we use ser. You might be thinking, but hang on, people change jobs, so surely it's temporary. And you would be right. But once you have chosen a job, you are permanently in that job until you change your mind. Position, location, we've seen this before with estar. Character, personality use is going to be ser. It's very similar to our appearance and our description here. They link very nicely. And for the time, thinking back to school and our timetable from module 2, we're going to be using ser because when you say it is 2 o'clock, son las dos. Make sure you've got these down and we'll move on. So imagine this is a take 5 that you would have had in class. I want you to read sentences 1 to 10 and decide whether it's going to be es or está, like we have in number 1, or it could be somos o estamos in number 3. Let's do the first one together. Mi padre está bajo. My dad is small or short. Looking back at the points from here, we're describing their appearance. So it's going to be ser. So we are going to need to say es. Mi padre es bajo. See if you can do the rest for me and we'll come to the answers. And make sure you're explaining why it is ser or estar if you want that extra challenge. Okay, the answers, las respuestas. So as we discussed with number 1, mi padre es bajo. Number 2, su casa es pequeña. His or her house is small. We're describing the house, we're describing the size of it, not the location. Number 3, we are intelligent. Somos inteligentes, muy inteligentes. This is our characteristic, our personality. That's why we need ser. Madrid está en el centro de España. Madrid is in the center of Spain. Location, Madrid is somewhere. Number 5, my cousins are French. This links to our nationality and origin, so it's going to be ser. And the reason why we use son is because we're saying my cousins, and imagine there's an invisible they there. So my cousins, they are French. Number 6, my brother's house is in London. La casa de mi hermano está en Londres. We're talking about the house and where it is. Number 7, my mum is a good-looking woman. Mi madre es una mujer guapa. We're describing her appearance. Number 8, I am from Italy and I eat a lot of pizza. Oh, I wish that was true, but there we go. So we use soy, very much links to our first activity describing where people were from. Number 9, our flat is by the coast, or it's on the coast, and I am sporty. So we're describing the flat's location by saying it's by the coast, está en la costa, but then we go on to describe ourselves, our character, what we like to do. Soy deportivo, I am sporty. And number 10, vosotros sois muy serios. You all are very serious. We're describing a personality trait here, hence the use of ser. Well done, guys. Give yourself a mark out of 10. Put it on the worksheet. Let's move on. You now have 6 sentences. I would like you to translate them into Spanish. And your challenge is to, once again, explain why it's ser or estar. I recommend you spend 5 to 10 minutes on this exercise, and then we'll go through the answers. Okay, the answers are as follows. So on the left-hand side, you've got las respuestas, and on the right-hand side, you've got por qué, meaning why. So I am very tall. You are going to be able to write soy alto or alta, depending if you're a boy or a girl. And the reason why we are using ser is because we're describing a characteristic. Number 2, the dog is nice. El perro es simpático. Making sure we've got simpático because perro is masculine and it's singular. We're talking about a dog in third person. That's why we need ser. And we're describing the personality or the characteristics of the dog. Number 3, my grandmother is quite old. Got an intensifier here of quite. And we've also got our possessive adjective to say my grandma because she belongs to me. So, mi abuela es bastante vieja, making sure our adjective is feminine singular because it's our abuela we're talking about. And the reason for ser is once again our characteristics. Number 4, I live in Horsham and my house is in the centre of town. Thinking about that structure from earlier this lesson and last lesson. Vivo en Horsham y mi casa está en el centro del pueblo. The reason why we're using estar is because the location of the house is in the centre of the town. Number 5, we're being really specific here. We're saying that my best friend is a girl, so she's going to be tall, she's going to be thin, but her house is not in the countryside. Mi mejor amiga es alta y delgada, pero su casa, we got our possessive adjective because the house belongs to her. Su casa no está en el campo. So we're using both ser and estar here because we're describing what she's like. She's tall and thin. And then we're going on to say where her house is not, because we've got the negatives here. And the last one, I am not from Spain and I live in Madrid and my house is in the city. Bit of a slightly longer one here, more of a challenge. So let's have a look. No soy de España, pero vivo en Madrid y mi casa está en la ciudad. So we've got our nationality, our origin. We're saying we're not from Spain, but I live in Madrid and my house is location of the house being in the city, not in a city. So we've got a definite article here, la, feminine, the. Excellent. Make sure you've corrected yourself or you've given yourself a mark. And how do you think you're feeling? ¿Qué tal? Are you feeling confident with how to use ser and estar? Think you need a bit more practice? Or you are really struggling to understand? Make sure you're highlighting one of these on your worksheet so I know how you're feeling up until now. And regardless of how you're feeling, we're going to do a little bit more practice and you can now choose the level that works for you. So imagine this is a take 10 in class using all your books and resources that you've got, and we're going to be reading the text that's on your worksheet. Your green level, identifica las frases que usan ser o estar. You've got to identify all the phrases that use ser and estar, so you can just go along and highlight them or underline them on the computer, or if you printed it out, you can do it by hand. Our amber, our yellow level, explica por lo que es ser o estar. So once you've read the text, you've highlighted ser o estar, you've now got to explain why it is that. So make sure you're using those definitions and those examples from before. And the red challenge, contesta a las preguntas en inglés. You have questions to answer in English, so it is a reading comprehension. Take 10, guys. Once you've finished, make sure you're uploading your work however your teacher has asked you to. But if you're with me, Miss Henton, make sure you're uploading it to Teams, please. Muy bien. Eso es todo. Muchas gracias y nos vemos muy pronto. Cuídase.